So friends, Kumar Saab is here. Let's understand the product and ask as many questions as you want to ask. Okay? Sir.
Well friends, we are native now. We are starting the session. And the product is Carriers Legal Liability Insurance. So in fact, this is one product which is not a new one in the market, but we are the late entrants because we have recently sponsored it just 2-3 years back. And this is a policy which is required for all transporters, carrier firms and logistic firms. This is one of the most important products in the sense. Without this, the survival of the transporters or the carrier firms is very difficult. This is a non-motor product. Let us see and understand what this product is. I am sharing with you. Just confirm whether it is visible to all of you.
Sir.
Yes, okay. So the name of the product is Carriers Legal Liability Insurance. And now you have to understand why this kind of policy is required. So when you are sending something from one place to another place, you need some mode of convenience by which this will go. Say suppose I have to send something from Jaipur to Bangalore, how I can send? So if you are at a place where the port is there, you will find the waterways, port to port facilities there, then in that case waterways would be better because the ship, steamer, boat or any kind of hull can carry the goods, maybe in detail or in bulk. If it is not there, then you have to look for the airways also. Airways means by air cargo carrier, helicopter or by any air device. Nowadays even the drones are delivering the goods. Third popular method is railways. So for carrying the goods from one place to another place, railways have introduced the goods trains, what you call malgadi. And these goods trains are according to the commodity or the cargo. That means if suppose coal or like that items are there, a open body wagon could be there. If the fuel like petrol, gas are there, then the tanker type body could be there. Or otherwise, the normal goods train would be there. So they are also carrying the load day and night. But what we are concerned with, we are concerned with the roadways. When the goods is transported from one place to another place, it goes through the GCCV. That is what you call goods carrying commercial vehicle. The GCCV could be in the shape of LMB, that is light commercial vehicle, medium commercial vehicle, heavy commercial vehicle, tanker, refrigerated vehicle, open body, closed body. All these kind of vehicles are used for carrying the goods. So this carrier legal liability insurance policy does not cover waterways, airways and railways. This is only concerned with the roadways. And on the road route, any kind of vehicle could be the GCCV. Not the private car, not the two-wheeler, but the vehicles which are coming under the category of GCCV, goods carrying commercial vehicle, maybe a LCV, MCV or HCV, maybe a tanker or a refrigerated vehicle or an open body or closed body vehicle. What you call normally lorry or trucks. So they are the vehicles which are insurable under this policy. Now, why a carrier's legal liability insurance policy is required? The transporters or carriers or the logistic firms are engaged in the business of sending the goods or cargo or merchandise from one place to another place. That is their business. So when they are sending some goods, any kind of goods, this goods is subject to loss or damage in the transit. If that loss takes place, it is the duty of the transporter to pay the compensation to the owner of the goods. Why? Because the transporter has charged freight for him. The owner of the goods has paid the freight for carrying the goods. That means they are into a legal contract. It is the bound and duty of the transporter firm to pay the compensation if he is not delivering the goods safely to the directed person or the firms. So transporter needs the coverage for that risk. And that coverage comes into the shape of carrier legal liability insurance policy. Another important reason is, suppose I am sending some goods from Jaipur to Bangalore. I am an insurance-minded person. I thought, why not I should get this goods insured from the insurance company. Maybe 10 bundles of clothes or 10 tins of ghee, whatever it is. So I preferred to insure it from the insurance company and I took the marine transit policy. Now I have got two options. Suppose my goods is not safely delivered. If there is any loss or damage to my goods during the transit, I have got two options. One, I can recover the claim from the transporter because ultimately the goods is going through the vehicle of the transporter only. Insurance company has only provided me the insurance, not the delivery of the vehicle from delivery of the goods from one place to another place. So the one option is I'll claim it from the transporter. And the second option is the loss or damage can be claimed from the insurance company because I have got the insurance. So I'll definitely prefer to take claim from the insurance company because I have paid the premium and I have taken the policy. Moreover, the insurance company has a systematic process to settle the claim. Suppose I am taking the claim from the insurance company and insurance company has settled my claim, paid me the indemnity, whatever loss was there to my goods. Now what the insurance company will do? Insurance company will take a subrogation letter from me. And this subrogation letter is a letter whereby I transfer my all rights and remedies to the insurance company. Why insurance company is taking the subrogation letter? Because insurance company has paid the actual loss to the insured who was party to the contract. But insurance company knows the loss or damage was not caused by the insured, it was caused by the transporter. So ultimately transporter is responsible for this. So on behalf of the insured, by way of subrogation letter, insurance company will file a claim to recover the amount paid to the insured from the transporter firm. And this is the legal responsibility of the transporter firm to pay to the insurance company as well. But either can claim, either the owner of the goods or the insurance company, not both. And the similar is the right of the insured also. He can claim from either one, either from the transport firm or from the insurance company. He cannot claim from both because that would be the infringement of the principle of indemnity. If I have sent 10 ton of ghee of worth say 1 lakh rupees, my 3 tins leaked and the entire ghee was wasted, so there was loss of 30,000 rupees. What will I do? I will recover 30,000 from the transporter either or from the insurer. If I am claiming 30,000 from each, then I am earning profit out of my loss. That is the infringement of the principle of indemnity. So in either circumstances, the owner of the goods is either claiming from the transporter or he is claiming from the insurance company, and then insurance company is recovering from the transporter. So the transporter is ultimately responsible to pay the claim for the loss or damages of the goods which is in his custody. He cannot escape the liability. In such a circumstances, the carrier's legal liability comes to the rescue of the transporter or the logistic firm to cover such a liability. Because there could be the circumstances when the transporter has paid for the loss or damages of the goods more than what he had earned throughout the year. Because any number of accidents could be there with any number of vehicles. And since he is in the business of sending the goods from one place to another place, maybe each day an incident can take place. Maybe 5-10 events in a month can take place. He never knows. Because in transit, this is the driver who is carrying the vehicle. The persons who are going with the vehicle. The persons who are responsible for loading and unloading. Damage could be at any place. So if that is the possibility that the transporter may lose in settling the claims more than what he has earned throughout the year, then how he will survive? So for his survival, this policy is must. Only this is the policy which can rescue him. Because this policy will pay all losses and damages caused during the year, policy year, and the compensation need not to be paid by the transporter. Now, this policy will be taken by the transporter, carrier firm or logistic firm. But an important question is, transporter firm may not have all the vehicles owned. He may have hired some vehicles. Say for example, mine is a reputed transport firm in Jaipur Balaji Golden Transport. My turnover is 3 crore rupees per year. I own 20 trucks, but I need 30 trucks. So instead of investing money in buying 10 more trucks, I prefer to hire 10 more trucks. Now I have the 30 trucks or 30 lorries. Though all lorries are engaged in carrying the goods or cargo from one place to another place for my firm. Now when I am taking the carrier's legal liability insurance policy, I want the coverage for all these 30 vehicles. Maybe owned or hired or chartered. So this is one policy, carrier's legal liability policy, which will cover the risk of all 30 vehicles, but not of the vehicles. This carrier legal liability policy covers legal liability of the road carrier for actual physical loss or damage to the goods. It means the risk of goods is covered, not of the vehicle. Risk of cargo is covered, not of the vehicle. When this cargo or goods is in transit and not safely delivered to the directed person or directed transporter, in that case, the owner of the goods has got every right to recover the compensation from the transporter. So for that purpose, this policy is required. Now what is the scope of cover? Scope of cover means what risks are covered. So basically, this policy covers fire, explosion and accidents. Fire, explosion or accident to the vehicle carrying the goods. But most of the losses are caused by the negligence. So arising due to negligence of the insured or insured's employees or his representatives or servants who are engaged in loading and unloading operations. That means fire, explosion, accident and negligence is covered. In addition, two more add-on covers are there. Right and strike and terror. Now add-on cover means a risk which is not inbuilt coverage of the policy. Means this is an additional risk, this is an extra risk. Add-on cover can be taken by payment of extra premium or additional premium. But these add-on covers are always optional, not mandatory. These are optional, these are voluntary. Every company has got add-on covers with every policy, any number of add-on covers, but all are approved by the IRDAI. So we have got two add-on covers, right and strike and terror. Now this is the choice of the transporter firm to take both, one or none, because they are optional. So this is the coverage of the policy. Now, when you are selling this policy to any of the transporter or carrier firm, you have to keep in mind the key features. And key features are, this policy is maximum for 12 months, means 1 year. On the expiry of the policy, it can be renewed for further years. It can be for short period, otherwise normally it is for 1 year. Policy will be given to the transport firm who are engaged in carrying the business. But the precondition is that the transporter who is taking this policy must have a comprehensive package policy for each of his vehicle which he is using for transporting the goods, insured under a comprehensive or package motor policy separately. Policy has to be comprehensive or package policy only, not third party. Comprehensive policy means which is covering the risk of third party plus own damage plus PA2 per owner cum driver. This is a precondition. And if at all he is having the comprehensive package policy, but certain policies are expiring in between the policy period of the carrier's legal liability. In that case, he has to renew the policy immediately without any breakup. Reason being, suppose any vehicle, any goods is damaged. Transporter has filed a claim on the insurance company. Insurance company will ask the motor package policy for that. And suppose that policy has expired 2 days or 3 days or 5 days before, insurance company has got a right to decline his claim, because this is a precondition. So under all the circumstances, each vehicle must be insured comprehensively under a motor package policy. Here is an important question. Transporter can say you, I have 20 vehicles. I have the policy, package policy for them. But I have hired 10 vehicles. I have no insurable interest in them. I cannot take the policy for them. Okay, no issue. Because their owners only will take the policy, motor policy. Registered owners whose name is there in the RC, they will tap the motor package policy and they will give a policy copy to the transporter, and that is a sufficient proof that the vehicle is insured under a package policy. And I tell you, all transporters prefer to take motor package policy for their commercial vehicles because they know the vehicle is costly and there is possibility of loss or damage or accident or fire or explosion at any time. So why should they pay from their own pocket for repairs if there is an accident? better to get it insured for comprehensive cover. So they always prefer to take the comprehensive cover. Next important aspect is all these vehicles which the transporter firm is using must be in a roadworthy condition. Roadworthy condition means what? For any commercial vehicle, roadworthy condition means a fitness certificate issued by the RTO authorities. That fitness certificate will confirm that the vehicle is in the roadworthy condition. And this is must for every commercial vehicle, not only GCCV but PCCV also. So fitness certificate must be there. And one good aspect is two kinds of policies are there, single policy or fleet policy. Single policy is taken by the transporter who are having one or two vehicles only. But the transporters who are having 50, 20, 100, 200, more than that, they will take fleet policy only. Fleet policy means all the vehicles used by the transporter firm can be insured in one carrier legal liability policy, and that will be the fleet policy. Now in the transport business, certain different kind of documents are maintained. Every transporter is maintaining a logbook. Logbook is a document where the entry of every vehicle is found, on what date, where this vehicle was gone, when it came back. So transporter can easily track the record of each vehicle he is maintaining. Secondly, consignment note. Consignment note means which vehicle carried what kind of goods. The detail of that consignment is there. And both these documents are regularly maintained by all the transport firms. They are the part of their business. At the time of insurance, of course, you don't need them. You can just check they are maintaining, that's all. But at the time of settlement of claim, insurance company will ask for both the documents to cross-check whether this vehicle was gone or not on that date, whether this goods was there in the consignment note of this vehicle or not. So both the documents are important. And this policy cannot be issued for a premium less than 500 plus GST. These are the key considerations of the policy that you must remember before issuing the policy. I repeat, policy is for 1 year only. It can be renewed on the expiry of the policy. It is given only to transporter, carrier or logistic firms. The precondition is that every vehicle must be comprehensively insured under a motor package policy. If the motor package policy has expired during the currency of the CLL period, that policy must be renewed immediately. All those vehicles must have the fitness certificate issued by the RTO authorities. Transporter must maintain their transportation related documents like logbook and consignment note. And the minimum premium of the policy is 500 rupees plus GST. Now when we are giving this policy to any of the transporter firm, he will raise an important question to you. And that relates to his comfort. What is that? Okay, what is the cover duration of this policy? Because the practical problem with the transporters is almost all transporters have their godowns to storage the goods. And goods is loaded and unloaded from their place only. Now sometimes these godowns are fully packed to its capacity. So even if some vehicle has come loaded, they are not in a position to unload the goods. In such a situation, that lorry is standing in the transporter's godown for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. Unless the godown is emptied, this cannot be unloaded. So they always look for this comfort that a little grace period should be there when they can adjust according to the capacity of godown. We have considered this aspect and we have given them 3 days additional coverage. So how the cover duration will start? In transporters and business, there are always 2 points: point of origin and point of discharge. That is also called as final destination. Suppose I am sending my one truck fully loaded from Jaipur to Bangalore. In that case, my point of origin is Jaipur and point of discharge is Bangalore. That is final destination. In between also, the goods are loaded and unloaded. On the way also, wherever the parties are there, wherever the transporters are there, with whom I have the tie-up. So when the risk will commence, even the vehicle has not started the journey, it is not in transit. This is standing at the godown at point of origin. I am sending my full truck fully loaded with edible items from Jaipur to Bangalore. Now edible items are loaded at my godown in the Jaipur. Journey has not yet started. But even during the loading operations, there could be loss or damage from the loaders and unloaders. That is also covered. Means commencement of cover will start from the place of origin with loading of cargo on the vehicle and remain until the same is unloaded at the point of discharge or expiry of 3 days from arrival of the vehicle at the final destination, whichever it is. Means at the time of loading operations, the risk is covered. When the vehicle starts from the point of origin, the risk is covered. When the vehicle is traveling in the transit, the risk is covered. When it reaches to the final destination, the risk is covered. If it is unloaded and the goods is safely delivered, risk ends. If it is not unloaded, the goods is still there in the vehicle. Vehicle is standing at the godown on day 1, on day 2 and day 3. Still the risk is covered. On day 4, the risk will be expired. So this is the covered duration. And this is important to understand, and this is our first point to explain to the transporters. Because certain policies may not be providing this. You can explain that our cover will start at the point of origin with loading operations. Our cover will end at the final discharge or final destination with unloading or expiry of 3 days, whichever is earlier. So understand this aspect very clearly. Cover duration is the factor which will decide the policy when the risk will expire. So carrier's legal liability policy is one policy which is covering the risk of the goods only. Now goods can be damaged at the point of origin, goods could be damaged at the point of discharge, goods could be damaged in the vehicle itself. Because normally transporters are sending mixed goods, every kind of goods. Household furniture is there, clothes are there, books are there, edible items are there, food grains are there. So even when the vehicle is parked at the point of discharge, at that time also there could be loss. If it is within 3 days, it's okay, covered. After 3 days, the risk will end. So this is covered duration. Now how the policy will be rated? Rating parameters include 3 things. 1. Gross vehicle weight. This is simple to get the gross vehicle weight of a vehicle from the registration certificate. Because GVW is always mentioned in the RC. Second thing is limit of indemnity. Now this limit of indemnity is decided by the transporter himself. Because he is the right person who knows about his annual turnover. And he will always prefer to take a policy for a similar sum insured of annual turnover. But this is his choice, not mandatory. If he is thinking or he is planning to increase his business, he can increase the sum insured. If he is planning to decrease the business, he can decrease the sum insured. For example, my firm is doing 3 crores turnover in previous year. The turnover did in my firm, transport firm, of 3 crores. Now this year also I want the policy for 3 crore or for 2 crore or for 4 crore or for 5 crore. This is my choice to decide. Because I have to pay the premium on the sum insured. And the third aspect is add-on cover. Since 2 add-on covers are there, I want both or one, or I am not interested. This is my choice. So premium will be charged on all these 3 things. But at the same time, there are certain factors which will provide the discount also. These are type of body, closed body, trailer, refrigerator, tanker, others. Fleet discount depending upon the number of vehicles I have. Past claim history, how much claims I have taken. And certain other good features like age and fitness of the vehicle and type of cargo, what type of cargo I am carrying. Now if at all there is any claim during the policy period, on each claim there would be a compulsory excess of 2% of the claim amount, subject to minimum of 5,000 rupees of each and every loss. There could be 2 claim, 3 claim, 5 claim during the policy period. So on all claim, there would be compulsory excess. Terrorism risk is not covered under the policy, but if the terrorism add-on cover is taken and the loss is caused by terrorism, in that case the rate compulsory excess would be different. Because this is one risk which is not directly dealt with by the insurance company. This risk is directly dealt with by the terrorism pool. That is the authority deciding the premium rate, compulsory excess and the settlement of claim. So that is the way how the policy will be rated. Now this policy has certain exclusions also. An important of them is third party death, injury, property damage claims which are covered under the Motor Vehicle Act are not covered under this policy. Carrier legal liability will not pay even a single rupee for such case. Why? Anybody can say? Why it is so? Anyone can say? Carrier legal liability policy will not pay for the third party death, injury or property damage.
That is TP policy is there, no sir? Packet policy or any TP policy is already
Packet
there.
policy. We are not accepting TP policy.
No, this is a packet policy, sir.
It's a packet policy.
Yes.
So this risk is covered under the Motor Vehicle Act in the motor package policy, which is mandatory in our policy, and every transporter has to take a package policy for each vehicle. And you know, in one policy, one vehicle can be covered only. Suppose I have two cars in my name. I need two different package policies, two different motor policies. Despite of the same name, same owner, same third ownership, separate policy has to be there. So suppose my one full truck of my Jaipur Balaji Golden Transport firm is going on the road. It hit the two persons who were crossing the road. Both the persons collapsed and died at the spot. My insurer of carrier's legal liability policy will not pay even a single rupees. But I have taken motor package policy from the same insurance company. This risk is covered under my package policy. That policy will pay the compensation. Contractual liability is not covered. Goods belonging to the transporters, agents, servants or contractors of the insured is not covered. Royalty and strike risk is not covered, but this can be taken on payment of extra premium. Act of terrorism is not covered, but this can be taken on payment of extra premium. Inherent defect of price means there are certain properties in the goods which can cause the loss or damage to the goods without any accident, fire or explosion. And the loss or damage could be like damp, wear and tear, deterioration, spontaneous combustion, decay or perishable goods. Normally, where the edible items are there, eatable items are there, you can say. These items have limited life. If they are not reaching within that stipulated time, their own properties will decay. They are perishable items. Say for example, fruits, vegetables, sweets, milk products. They have very limited life. They will decay. Consequential losses. Consequential losses means other than direct losses. Depreciation, delay, loss of market or consequential losses like price fluctuation, loss of demand in the market. This kind of consequential losses are not covered. Now, if the insured has not complied with the statutory requirement or legal requirement of the Motor Vehicle Act, then also the claim will not be paid. Say for example, my fully loaded lorry is going from Jaipur to Bangalore, but I have the state permit only. Means it can carry the goods within the states. The moment it is exceeding the state or entering into any other state, the police or the transport authorities can seize my vehicle. My permit doesn't allow. If there is no permit, proper permit, if there is no proper fitness, it means transporter is defaulter. For that default, the insurance company will not pay the claim. So these are certain exclusions of the policy. Then if at all there is any loss to any of the goods or cargo, the first duty of the transporter firm is to intimate the insurance company immediately. Because the moment insurance company is being informed, insurance company will examine the policy record, and if they feel they are on the risk, they will immediately send a surveyor who will immediately rush to the spot of the incident, and they will physically verify the loss, will take the photograph, and maybe he is assessing the loss at that site only. Because he is competent for that. He is an authorized person, he is a licensed person, he is a competent person for assessing the loss. So the claim will be settled only on the basis of his report. That means physical verification of loss is must. And for that immediate intimation is must. Then only the surveyor will go. Now when the claim is there, insurance company will definitely ask for certain different documents. What documents? First of all, whether the vehicle was having the motor package policy or not. Its registration certificate. Then agreement letter. Agreement letter is required when the goods of some specific firm is carried on. Say suppose my 5 trucks are engaged with the Sri Cement factory. They are only taking the cement bags from the factory and delivering to their distributors. So they are carrying the specific cargo of cement only. And there is an agreement between the firm and me, between cement firm or my firm, for 2 years. So if there is any kind of such agreement, that will be required by the insurance company to settle the claim. Then comes certificate of registration. Now you will be confused over the RC and certificate of registration. This RC belongs to the vehicle. This is called registration certificate. This is issued by the RTO authorities, Regional Transport Authority. But the certificate of registration is a document issued by Transport Department under the provisions of the Carrier by Road Act 2007. This is the kind of authorization whereby the transport firm is authorized to do the transportation business. This is something like license issued by the IRDA to the insurance companies. If an insurance company wants to do the insurance business in any country, they have to take the license from the IRDA. It is like that. So normally all the transporter firms are having the certificate of registration and they are displaying it in their offices. But if at all you have some certain transporters in villages or in remote areas, they are not taking the certificate of registration. In that case, they may face the difficulty in settlement of claims. Fitness certificate is also required to settle the claim. Proposal and claim of form are also required, and 2 more important documents are GR and good forward note. The GR means goods receipt or bilty. This is one single document issued by the transporter firm to the owner of the goods. While charging the freight, they will mention the brief detail of the goods in that paper, that what is the good, quantity, value, packing, from which place, to which place, on what date, who is the owner. That brief detail is there in the GR. But this GR, this goods receipt, is the document which is showing the total valuation of the goods carried in the lorry. Another important document is good forward note. When a transporter firm is sending a vehicle fully loaded, so wherever it will upload, for their sake and convenience to cross-check what goods is forwarded, there is a list. In that list, all the packings, parcel or the items are listed. So that good forward note is also maintained. So at the time of settlement of claim, insurance company will ask for these documents to settle the claim. Because these are the documents that will cross-check and verify the item, the vehicle, the firm, the owner, and the actual loss. Now when you are selling this policy to any of the firm, You need certain basic information to get the premium quotes. Because premium quotes will be generated on the basic information only by the underwriters. So in the proposal form you need what are the number of vehicles to be covered, what are their gross vehicle weight that can be taken from registration certificate, what is the limit of indemnity selected by the transporter firm, what are the add-on covers selected by the transporter firm. We are having two, they want both, one, or not interested to take any. What type of vehicle bodies are there? Closed body, tanker, others, freight trailers, freight created vehicles. What the age of these vehicles? What type of cargo they are carrying? Any specific cargo or mixed cargo? What is the past claim history? Or a single policy is required or a fleet policy is required. So on that basis the underwriter will generate the quote. If the quotation is accepted, the policy will be issued from the underwriting department. So when you are giving this policy, preferably the transporter will go for the fleet policy. At that time you can say we need a package policy, package motor policy for your each vehicle may be owned or hired by. And you have to continue it during the policy period, throughout. If it is expiring, you have to renew it well in time. Because suppose there is any loss, and at that time the motor package policy was not found valid, the insurance company may repudiate the claim. This carrier's legal liability policy can be given to all type of cargoes, any type of cargo, except the contraband items. Contraband means not legally permitted by the law. Say for example, you publicly cannot carry liquor, drugs, or certain kind of animals, species. So contraband tie-ups are not carried. So this policy is given to the firms who are engaged in transportation business. They may ask you one more question. Why they should not take the marine transit policy instead of carrier's legal liability policy? You have to understand the difference. A carrier legal liability policy covers the liability, whereas the marine policy covers the property or the cargo or the goods. Carrier legal liability provides the liability. What liability is there? Because the owner of the goods has paid the freight. Now if its goods is not safely delivered, the transporter is liable, legally liable. But the marine policy is taken by the owner of the goods. There is no liability. Owner of the goods will take it. This owner could be consignor, consignee, buyer, seller. Because in marine, freely assignable policies are there, marine. So goods can be sold at any stage, even in the transit. So both the policies are different. One policy is meant for the owner of the goods, and the second policy, carrier legal liability policy, is meant for the transporters. You know, transporter is not the owner of any goods which he is transporting from one place to another place. He is only a custodian. The goods is in his custody as long as it is not safely delivered to the directed person or directed transporter. The moment it is handed over safely, the risk of transporter ends. So goods is in his custody for a temporary period. Till that he is responsible. Now all the vehicles owned or hired can be covered under this policy for 12 months because the policy is issued for 1 month, 1 year only. And the under insurance is not applicable either in motor insurance policy as well as in the carriers legal liability insurance policy. Why it is not applicable on motor insurance policy? Because all the motor insurance policies are issued on the basis of IDV. IDV is the sum insured. IDV means actual showroom price minus depreciation. Depreciation given at the percentage in the IDV table. That means it is insured on the market value or the current replacement value. But in carriers legal liability under insurance is not applicable because the owner of the goods is not the transporter. He don't know even the actual value of that goods. He is aware of the value given by the owner of the goods only. Maybe it is higher or it is lower. So liability will be decided under this policy under the basis of 2 factors. Any one accident, AOA, and any 1 year, AOY. And both have to be selected by the transporter. The liability will be paid by the policy in full up to the AOA or AOY limits subject to policy deductibles or excess. So this any one accident or any one year has to be decided by the transporter himself. It means you have to decide the sum insured, and sum insured is on the basis of AOA and AOY. So how he will decide the sum insured? The insured, who is a transporter or carrier firm, will first try to understand if there is a single loss to a vehicle, what could be the maximum limit of loss? Above that, there could be no loss. Say, for example, my firm is Jaipur Balaji Gold. My firm is in tie-up with the Indian Oil Corporation. They are carrying the petrol, diesel from the Indian Oil depot and distributing to the distributors across the country. Now suppose my one tanker is overturned, drowned in the river, met with an accident or leaked completely. What could be my maximum loss? Or even burn? So I'll see the maximum carrying capacity in the RC. So tanker has the maximum carrying capacity of 5,000 liters. Now the harsh value of the petrol is average 100 rupees per liter. So 5,000 into 100 means 5 lakh rupees. If my one tanker is totally burnt, exclude the liability of motor vehicle, because this policy is concerned with the goods only. So how much goods is damaged? 5,000 into 100, 5 lakh rupees. Insurance company will pay 5 lakh rupees minus compulsory excess. So this is the any one accident limit. Now, any 1 year, 5 lakh is one for one vehicle. I have 5. 5 lakh into 5 into 365. That means my total 1 year turnover is there. So this is almost near to the total turnover of the year. It could be reduced, it could be increased according to the choice of the transporter firm. But on that basis, the premium rate will be applicable. Premium rate is applicable according to product. Suppose this petrol, oil or fuel is there. So these are highly inflammable items, rate could be 1%. Or suppose there steel items are there, wooden items are there, edible items are there. Rate could be 15 paisa, 20 paisa, 25 paisa, depending upon the items. Premium rates are there. Now, There is an act called Public Liability Insurance Act 1991, which is providing the compensation to the third parties if their goods is damaged by anyone. Despite of the provision of this act, this carrier's legal liability insurance policy is not mandatory to the transporters legally. This is as per the choice of the transporter firm to take this policy. They know without taking this policy, their survival is difficult. So almost every transporter is taking this policy. Now when you are going to sell this policy to any of the transporter firm, you can face one problem. And the problem is, transport nuggets are there in every city, every district. And in every transport nugget you will find 100, 200, 500 transporters are there. And they all have thousands of vehicles. So there are firms who are in the business, transport business since last 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years. They are taking this policy from the insurers. This policy is not new. We are new in this policy. We have introduced this policy 2-3 years back. So when you are going to sell this policy to any of the transporter firm, you may find that the transporter is already having this policy. Here you have to display your marketing skills and you have to tell them, convey them. Our policy is good because certain comforts are provided as per your convenience. Whenever this carrier legal liability policy is expiring from such and such company, you can invite us, we will serve. Our rates are competitive, our claim services are better. So once you are entering in that firm, you will have two kinds of business, carrier legal liability insurance business as well as the motor business of all those GCCVs which is using for the transportation. So this is one good policy whereby you can fetch two kind of deal. And this is one simple and easy policy whereby you can insure hundreds of vehicles under a single fleet policy. So this is all about this policy. Now you can ask any questions. What other question do you have in mind? Any questions? Area managers can ask their team. If they have any doubt, they can ask me. Any questions? Vinay, Abdul, you can ask your team if they have any doubts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sunil, doubt is if any doubt is there, please ask the question. Iftikhar. Sandeep, Damgere.
No, sir.